2016, EY Chile signed an agreement with Imagine Business Lab, a tech business accelerator supported by Microsoft, which, despite its brief history, had managed to strongly impact the local innovation ecosystem. After 11 brief months, the agreement was over, and I want to share this case because I was involved in the coordination and monitoring of the alliance on the side of EY, and it's interesting for me to analyze the case utilizing the knowledge I have gained during this paper. EY Chile is a professional services firm and the second largest Big Four in the country, recognized for its tax advisory services. The company heavily relied on the service line revenues, but in 2015, Chile faced a difficult economic outlook which impacted strongly the revenues. EY focused on growing its advisory practice with a focus on innovation, which was considered a differentiator among the other Big Fours. Imagine Business Lab is a technology-based business accelerator founded in 2014 by a group of 5 businessmen who set out as a vision to transform Latin America with the development of entrepreneurial intelligence. Due to its outstanding performance, they became supported by Microsoft and did not only accelerate startups, but designed and operated open innovation programs for large corporations. In this context, EY and Imagine envisioned an opportunity to work together for their common objective: selling projects to large companies aiming at incorporating innovation to its processes and products. EY was pursuing to have access to startups and gain deep knowledge of their value offers, so they needed to get closer to the local innovation ecosystem. On the side of Imagine, despite their good performance regarding acceleration, they were struggling to have access to large companies to connect them with the startup solutions and convince their customers to implement open innovation programs as part of the business strategy. Both parties agreed to sign a non-equity strategic alliance for a period of a year as a trial version, and by the end of that period it would be decided to continue or not. Through this partnership, companies pursued a joint pipeline, and for sold projects, each company would collect their correspondence fees. Additionally, EY compromised mentoring programs for Imagine startups, and Imagine would introduce consultants in networking events to connect them with the innovation ecosystem. As a result, only 3 opportunities appeared on the pipeline over the course of 11 months, and no joint project was sold, so the agreement was terminated. The reason for the failure were the sum of poor management of 3 factors: governance, leadership, and expectations. Although the alliance had a strong action plan, it lacked of a well-structured internal governance scheme to execute it. Imagine had a flat and small structure, so there were few processes involved in the execution of activities. EY, on the other hand, was a big company with over 1,000 employees, several support teams serving different business lines, and lots of processes, especially to meet compliance requirements. Specific roles in the action plan were not established. The management of the alliance and plan was delegated to one consultant with low level of seniority. This internally affected the awareness of the alliance, reducing the speed of the execution of tasks and leading to overdue deadlines, which negatively impacted the credibility in front of the counterpart. A failure in leadership was shown as well in this context of this inappropriate governance. In the absence of a designated team with specific roles, there was no clarity of who was responsible for guiding this initiative, so a few employees in senior levels tried to take the lead. As a result, activities started to overlap and egos were showed up. The timeline of the action plan was somehow unachievable, so EY expected some flexibility over it, and Imagine expected a working dynamic similar to their own. Additionally, given the volume of EY clients, Imagine was expecting to be invited to numerous meetings with their partners shortly after the signature of the agreement, even if this meant that the marketing activities proposed were not executed yet, and there was a poor awareness of the startup portfolio. None of the parties helped manage the expectations over the other, causing a lot of tension. The lessons learned for this case are: for EY, it is important to compromise on a specific team and establish an alliance governance, as it was about a project for clients. And it is fundamental to establish realistic timeframes and realistic expectations. For Imagine, due to the different complexities of each partner, flexibility is key. As alliances are based on exchange to receive the expected benefits, there must also be willingness and effort to offer the promised benefits. For both, the most important lesson was that trial version for alliances don't work. It is necessary to compromise and pursue a long-term relationship with long-term objectives.